got a question.
Hi guys, I'm back after I don't know 3 weeks or a month now. Sorry for the late video, and I'll tell you the reason later why it took me this much time to make a video. As you know, I'm not putting that much effort because I'm like reacting or what do you say, commenting on a video which I saw. So I understand this should not take that much time to make a video and upload it. But I totally apologize for to you guys and to myself if I'm not working on it. But it's a habit in process, so I'm trying to build a habit, and I hope this continues. So let's not ज़्यादा time waste नहीं करते, सीधा video पे आते हैं. And here we go.
We're just talking about how there's different ways to explore the world, one of them being reading. And I think that's one very, very important and timeless way of exploring the world. What do you think about this phenomenon? Less people are reading. Like, it feels like almost nobody is reading per capita. What do you make of that? Do you see that as an existential crisis?
I think the one thing which compensated reading is, if I go with this, is like the videos which we are watching, podcasts or long form video contents on YouTube, because YouTube is a bigger source for people who are into knowing stuff, जिनको who have the patience and the attention span for to hold on longer period for the sake of entertainment or pleasure, or just curiosity. Because most of the people I know, जो मैं अपनी बात करूँ, बहुत कम लोग हैं जो सिर्फ किताब पढ़ने से मज़ा आता है इसलिए पढ़ता है, इन द सेंस बिकॉज मैनी पीपल नाउ, बिकॉज द पीपल हु बाय बुक्स, मोस्ट ऑफ द जो आप रास्ते पे जाओगे बेचने के लिए भी, जो किताब रास्ते पे भी रहती है पायरेटेड, उसमें से 70 से 80% जो किताब है वो मोटिवेशनल या फिर सेल्फ डेवलपमेंट, सेल्फ हेल्प का जॉनर में है. एंड इन द सेंस जो इसीलिए जो ज़्यादा तौर पे किताबें बिकी भी जा रही है आजकल, वो सेल्फ हेल्प मोटिवेशन. सो people who are, even if they are the people who are reading books, they are like reading it for the sake, for the outcome of developing themselves, like power of atomic habits and everything. Now the other majority of people who come is into the novella or जो प्लेजर के लिए वो बहुत कम लोग हैं. नाउ उसमें भी एक नया पार्ट आया, द रीडर्स विच आई सीन इंक्रीज इज इन नॉन फिक्शन, because that was a like big, not a shock, but it was a bit of a shock for me, because I because if you see, जब भी कोई book fair होता है, most of the people who are trying to buy books, they are in which I, because जो मैंने बचपन से देखा, जब whenever I used to go for a book fair, I used to see people, most of the people were in the non like fiction section, like they used to buy like books of Geoffrey Archer and all other things. And most of the ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग were into fiction, because कुछ सालों पहले, जब तक before the time of internet or widespread internet was there in early 2000s, but जो हर घर में इंटरनेट नहीं था, in the sense the लड़कों, जब बच्चों के लिए, या फिर इन द सेंस यंगस्टर्स और पीपल हु आर नॉट दैट मच सोशल और नॉट एक्सट्रोवर्ट और गो, they are not going out, they have the options which they have for entertainment was either talk to your family member, because or your siblings, or if you're not that much good with your siblings, the other options, two options which you had was television, and second was reading. Because through reading you talk to different characters, different storylines, to visit places which, as an introvert or other non-social person, it's hard for you, but you, through the story of a protagonist, you live that experience. Now because of internet, that space is taken by social media. So most of the people who are into stories and everything, now their attention span, even if they are non-social, still non-social, not much of extrovert, not talking to new people, but their interaction of new people has from stories has come to social media. Now a person who was if in 20, 15 20 years who had been considered introvert would have one or two, or maximum if I can count on my fingers, friends who would call him as a who he can call his friends, so quote unquote. Even those in those five, 4 or 5 friends, he would have one or two friends which are like on a daily talking basis. But because of social media, a person would have image or persona that he you can see like hundreds, even if if even if you open a Facebook account, you'll get 100 followers in a month, 100 friends. You can make 100 friends on Facebook or social. In Instagram is also same. Now the perception is that i'm I have diverged, like मैं भटक गया वापस टॉपिक से, sorry.
No,
What do you make of it?
No. Well, reading for pleasure has always been a minority occupation. Like most people don't read for pleasure. Of the people who read for pleasure, only a small proportion buy books. Of the people who buy books, only a small proportion buy difficult books. It's a specialty market. And I don't think.
But one more thing I noticed recently is the जो ये नॉन फिक्शन बुक्स है, सो कोट एंड कोट डिफिकल्ट बुक्स, उनकी खरीदारी बहुत बढ़ गई है, इन द सेंस उनकी मार्केट बढ़ी है. बट आई डोंट नो कि कितने लोग जो खरीद रहे हैं वो कितने पढ़ रहे हैं. मैं खुद का ही बोलता हूँ, व्हाई दीज नॉन फिक्शन बुक्स, लाइक बुक्स ऑन सोशल टॉपिक्स, बुक्स ऑन हिस्ट्री एंड बुक्स ऑन certain events of history, religion or philosophy are getting popular because of podcast, because many of the writers like who are writing these book before their books, because now the good thing about podcast and YouTube है कि बहुत सारे writers को एक platform मिला to talk about their books. Because पहले the writers had a platform, like they had a niche genre कि जो लोग किताबों पे इंटरेस्ट है, लाइक द फेस्टिवल्स, बुक फेस्टिवल्स में जाना या फिर किसी अखबार में आर्टिकल आना, सो दे हैड अ लिमिटेड पीपल हु आर इंटरेस्टेड इनटू दैट टॉपिक एंड दे यूज्ड टू कम एंड बाय द बुक, और word to word mouth, like person to person feedback. But now because of social media, अगर समझो मैंने टीपू सुल्तान पे जैसे किताब लिखी है संपत, विक्रम संपत ने, सो अगर कि कोई इंसान, if a writer is writing a book on a historical figure, now because of social media he has a platform on many YouTube channels, वो अपनी book, even if he not promoting his book, he can record a 40 minutes or one hour long podcast on the topic or around the topic, not discussing the content of book in detail, but just a gist of it, and talk about his work and how he did like it's kind of a कोई actor अपनी movie shoot करने के बाद कैसे interview देने जाता है. Now writers have become celebrities, and because large number of audience को YouTube के through इन writers के काम के बारे में और इस topic के बारे में थोड़ा पता चला ना, so the people have enthusiasm. अभी मैंने बहुत, और ये क्यूरियोसिटी का कीड़ा हर इंसान में होता है, मैंने देखा है. और ऐसा कोई इंसान नहीं जो लाइक पीपल से दैट मेनी पीपल डोंट हैव सब लाइक माय मिस्टेक. लोग बोलते हैं कि इसमें सब्सटेंस नहीं है, दैट ही इज नॉट क्यूरियस. एवरीवन इज क्यूरियस, जस्ट योर क्यूरियोसिटी इज टोटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द अदर पर्सन. नाउ मैंने गाँव में जाके देखा है, इफ पॉडकास्ट, छोटे छोटे गाँव, रिमोट एरियाज, आई हैव सीन पीपल फ्रॉम लाइक डिफरेंट एजेस, लाइक बच्चों से लेके इन द सेंस 12-13 साल के बच्चों से लेके मैंने देखा है 60-65 साल के बूढ़ों तक, जो लाइक दे हैव अ फोन एंड स्मार्टफोन, 5-6 हज़ार का कोई भी, दे आर ऑल्सो वॉचिंग पॉडकास्ट. इवन आई एम फॉर लाइक टचवुड, आई like Ranveer Alabadiya, he has done like tremendous transformation in Indian content, because people, मेरी खुद की माँ भी he also watches it, she also watches आपका video, Ranveer, so thank you for that. Now these people who their source of information was अखबार, TV news channel, family members, reading was not big part of their life. Now because of social media, I understand कि वहाँ पे भी fake news है, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं, but they are like globally they are connected with lot of stuff. They know that because even if you're watching Hindi videos, sometimes something from out of India pops up, even if the content is created in Hindi, कि कोई किसी का vlog है, because of that vlog you get to know that this is culture. Because I have seen many people who never would have known that something they like, let's suppose Statue of Liberty, they never were aware about the certain places, but because of internet, of vlogs, logo ke travel vlogs, they get to know about culture, they get to know about language, lifestyle, and everything. So internet has connected many people all over the world, and especially India, because of Geo. And so this is also a part of reading or getting to know or being curious. So thank you to internet.
I think that's changing. What I do see happening, though, is that is being expanded in surprising ways by such things as YouTube videos and podcasts.
So you find
True.
you can find the value in something like that is just as valuable as something you could possibly find in a book.
Well,
in your opinion.
I think that the two technologies have their advantages and disadvantages.
Right.
The thing about a book that you can't get from a discussion is that a book is like a portrait as opposed to a photograph. A photograph, it's click, that's that. A portrait you layer on and layer on and layer on and work over on for weeks. You still have the same single image, but there's this depth to it. And a book enables you to think and then rethink and think and then rethink. And so you can go deeper in a book than you can, I would say, in any other medium.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you can't go deep in a podcast. And it doesn't mean that there's no educational utility in podcasts. Plus, there's audiobooks, right? And
Sure.
people are listening to those
Well,
like
that
mad.
was another
Yeah.
question. Do you think that audiobooks are just as valuable as books?
Oh, sure.
Just as
Sure.
good.
Well, the thing is, if you can really read, you can read way faster than you can listen. So reading is more effective. Except that, and this is what's cool about podcasts, and what's game changing about them, I would say, is we can't read while you're driving.
Yeah.
You can't read while you're doing the dishes or exercising, and so
Yeah.
all of a sudden,
So this is the biggest change and biggest advantage of YouTube and podcast per se, because I have seen the same way जो मैंने कहा ना कि आप काम कर रहे हो या फिर मैं travel कर रहा हूँ, you just need your headphones. Now everyone has Bluetooth headphones, wired headphones, any kind of headphones, and you plug your headphones and here you go. You have you can watch video on horror. You can watch interview on the recent socio-political topics, n number of things. You just need to plug your headphones, and YouTube is a great platform for audio listening as well. If people don't know,
the podcast world, people have all this time that was used maybe listening to music, which is fine, right? But lots of people now are listening to like difficult podcasts.
Yeah, educational ones.
Yes, and long, detailed discussions about political issues that was never possible with television or even with radio for that matter. So, and people say, well, young people have a fragmented attention span. It's like, well, yeah, but Joe Rogan does 3-hour podcasts and
Right.
those do just fine. And your
Right.
podcast is how long
They're
usually?
about long,
pretty long,
2 hours
yeah.
generally.
Yeah.
Right, so that's not for a fragmented attention.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
no, I
But
think it's good.
You're absolutely right. I think the number one person who listens to this podcast and podcasts in general are people who are occupied doing something else.
Yep.
And
I मुझे इस पे बात ही करनी थी कि the biggest stereotype which I have seen on internet is bashing Gen Zs, that they have a very less attention span and they are not hardworking and they are not focused. But most of the people who I have seen from Gen Z, or you will be surprised, I'm from the same generation, is that and when I say Gen Z, we are like the Gen Z is more well versed with things, and if you talk to a person from Gen Z, or the person who when I say quote unquote Gen Z, like the person who was born after, if I'm correct, 1998, I think Gen Z's correct age is 1998. I'm not sure if sorry for if I'm wrong. So is that they are very well versed with all topics or all like you talk about politics, even if they don't know in detail, they'll have a brief idea. They're able to have opinion on it. but they would refrain from talking about it because they are not now. I'm not. It's a generalization. They don't now, as they are not as bothered as millenniums about opinions or other people's opinion. If I don't give an answer, they don't think that the other person is what the other person would think, that I don't know about this topic, or either I am a dumb, or but this thing I have seen in millennials, because the generation before Gen Z, whenever there is a topic or there is a discussion, they feel that they have to talk or give their unsolicited opinions in it, even if it's no one asked for it, and even if it doesn't have any value in it, or if your point is not adding value into the conversation, but they feel the burden of intellect which is like pushed upon them by themselves, that अगर मैं इस टॉपिक पे बात ना करूँ तो मैं इन सबसे थोड़ा कम हूँ. But Gen Z is not bothered about this opinion. They don't think that अगर कोई टॉपिक पे डिस्कशन मेरा बात ना चले तो मुझे कोई कम समझेगा. They are not bothered about other people's opinion, because in their mind they are that point they are secure.